My secret friend lived in my closet. Then we found his collection of me. The man who lived in my closet smelled like damp soil and rust. I must have been 6, maybe 7. I don't have a clear memory of our first meeting. He was just there. A feature of my childhood, like the monster-shaped water stain on my ceiling or the loose floorboard that always groaned when you stepped on it. His name was Milo. I can see him now if I close my eyes. His hair was the color of wet straw, always stuck to his forehead. His fingers were long and stained with something dark under the nails. He had a gap between his front teeth that he would whistle through when he was thinking, and his eyes. They were a pale, washed-out blue, and they never seemed to blink. He told me the panel at the back of my closet led to a secret tunnel, a tunnel that snaked under all the houses on our street and came out in the woods behind the old creek. It was our secret. Our signal was a rhythm. Tap, 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 tap. Slow. Patient. It would come from deep inside the closet, past the wall of my dad's old coats that smelled like mothballs and cigarettes. The first time I heard it, I thought it was a mouse. The second time, I was brave enough to open the door. And there he was, Milo, folded into the small space like a broken marionette, that gappy smile on his face. He didn't treat me like a kid. The other grown-ups, my parents' friends, they'd ruffle my hair and ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up. Milo would ask me about my dreams, the real ones, the ones with the shadow people and the falling teeth. He'd listen, his head cocked to one side, and then he'd tell me about the things that lived in the dark. He made me feel like my secrets were important. One night, I was showing him my new Game Boy, the blocky gray one. I was trying to explain how to catch a Pikachu in the Viridian Forest. He wasn't really watching the screen. His eyes were fixed on my face, studying me. His eyes were fixed on my face, studying me. "I made something for you, Cass," he whispered. His voice was always a whisper, dry and scratchy like dead leaves. He pulled a folded piece of paper from his pocket. It was a drawing. He'd done it in pencil, and he was good, frighteningly good. It was us, sitting on my rug, the glow of the TV on our faces. He'd captured everything. The way my hair stuck up in the back, the concentrated frown on my face. In the drawing, his arm was around my shoulder. He looked like a guardian, a protector. "Wow," I breathed. "We have to make it official," he said. He took out a small, sharp piece of rock. "A pact. So we're always friends." He pricked his own thumb first, a perfect red bead welling up. Then he held the rock out to me. I hesitated for just a second, but I wanted to be his friend. I wanted the pact. I let him press the sharp edge into my thumb. He squeezed a drop of my blood onto the paper, right next to his, smearing them together under our drawn figures. Underneath, in messy letters, he'd written Milo and Cass, brothers in the quiet places. "You have to hide this, Cass," he said, his eyes serious. "If your mom finds it, she'll close the tunnel. She doesn't understand the quiet places. She'll ruin it. Then I can't come back." I nodded. I understood. Mom's ruined everything. I slid the drawing under a loose floorboard beneath my bed. Our secret, sealed in blood. The sound of footsteps on the stairs. My mom. Milo moved faster than I thought a person could move. He didn't scramble. He just flowed backward into the closet, pulling the door almost shut behind him. A sliver of darkness, and then he was gone. My mom came in to tell me it was time for bed. After that night, Milo started coming more often. Almost every night. Sometimes he'd bring me things. A perfectly preserved beetle with an iridescent shell. A bird's skull, bleached white by the sun. A smooth, flat stone that was always cold to the touch. We'd play Jenga, or he'd just watch me play video games. It was our routine. It was my normal. Then one day, he just stopped. A day went by without the tap, 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 tap. Then 2. A week. After 2 weeks of silence from the closet, a cold, hard knot formed in my stomach. What if my mom had found out? What if she'd sealed the tunnel? I was just a kid. I couldn't do anything but wait, and the waiting was agony. Then, 3 weeks after he'd disappeared, the knock came again. I was reading a comic book on my bed. It wasn't the usual signal. It was fast. Frantic. Tap, 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 tap. A desperate, scrabbling sound. I didn't think about the difference. I was just so fucking relieved. He was back. I jumped off the bed and yanked the closet door open, a stupid grin on my face. The person standing there was Milo, but it wasn't. The smell hit me first. It wasn't just soil and rust anymore. There was something else under it, something sour, sickly. His clothes were torn, his face was gaunt and smudged with dirt. There were raw, red scratches on his cheeks, like he'd been clawing at his own skin. But it was his eyes. The pale blue was gone, replaced by a frantic darkness. The pupils were huge. They darted around my room, not looking at things, but looking past them, into the corners, at the shadows. Milo, my voice was small. The smile was gone from my face. Are you okay? His head snapped toward me. His eyes were full of red, spidery veins. He grabbed my arm. His grip was like iron. Cass, you have to come with me, now. He started pulling me toward the closet. It's the only safe place. It's coming. What's coming? I tried to pull back, but his fingers just dug deeper. I felt a sharp sting. Little red beads of blood welled up on my arm where his dirty fingernails broke the skin. This wasn't my friend. This was a cornered animal. It's in the walls, kid, he hissed, his face close to mine. His breath smelled like rotten meat. I hear it scratching. It followed me back. It wants me, but it won't take you. Not if you're with me. We have to hide in the quiet place. We have to hide now. I screamed. It wasn't a kid's yell. It was a raw, terrified sound that tore out of my throat. I heard my mom shout my name from downstairs, heard her feet pounding on the stairs, heard her feet pounding on the stairs. Normally, that would have been Milo's cue to vanish. But he didn't let go. He just pulled harder, dragging me into the dark, mothball-scented space. It will get you too, Cass. You have to come with me. Tears were streaming down my face. I didn't know what he was talking about, but the terror in his voice was real. I didn't want to see what was in the quiet place. My mom burst into the room. She saw him, this filthy man, trying to drag her son into a closet. She didn't hesitate. She didn't scream. She just grabbed the heavy ceramic lamp off my bedside table and brought it down on the back of Milo's head with a sickening crack. He crumpled. He just folded onto the floor, and my mom scooped me up and ran, locking us in her bedroom and dialing the police. I never saw Milo again. Not in person. The police came. They didn't find a tunnel. My mom had forgotten, but my dad hadn't. Behind the closet panel wasn't a crawl space. It was a tiny, unfinished storage space, barely big enough for a grown man to lie down in. He'd been living there. They found his nest. A filthy sleeping bag, empty food wrappers, a bucket he'd been using as a toilet. And they found his things. There were strange little dolls woven from twigs and what the police later identified as human hair. His hair. There were dozens of bird skulls arranged in spirals on the floor. And there were the drawings, hundreds of them. On scraps of paper, on the backs of stolen receipts, on torn pieces of cardboard. All of them were of me. Me eating breakfast, seen through the kitchen window. Me on the swing set in the backyard, me sleeping in my bed. He'd been watching, and tucked into a corner like a shrine was the drawing he gave me. Milo and Cass. Brothers in the quiet places. My bloody thumbprint next to his. We moved a month later. My parents never spoke of it again. We just pretended that part of my life never happened. But I can't forget. Sometimes, late at night, when the house is still and the wind is just right, I think I can hear something. A faint scratching sound from inside the walls. And I look at the tiny, faded white scar on my arm, and I wonder what Milo was so afraid of. I wonder if he was just crazy, or if something really did follow him back from the quiet places.